James Crumbley, the father of Ethan Crumbley, the convicted Michigan school shooter, has been found guilty on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. This verdict comes shortly after his wife, Jennifer Crumbley, was also convicted on similar charges.
The Michigan father whose son shot and killed 4 of his classmates in 2021. Prosecutors painted Crumbley as a careless, negligent father who bought his son the gun that the son used in the school shooting.
James Crumbley is currently undergoing trial following the convictions of his wife and son. Ethan Crumbley, the teenager responsible for the tragic killing of 4 students at an Oxford, Michigan, high school in 2021, pleaded guilty to 1 count of terrorism causing death, 4 counts of murder, and 19 other charges linked to the devastating incident. He received a life sentence without the possibility of parole last year. The father of a student who lost their life in the Oxford high school shooting expressed that the convictions of the shooter and their parents mark just the beginning steps. Steve Street Juliana emphasized that mass shootings remain the primary threat to young lives and urged for increased measures to address this critical issue. Speaking at a press briefing on Thursday after James Crumbley's conviction, Juliana stressed, "There is so much more that absolutely must be done."
James Crumbley had no idea what his son was capable of. He had no idea what his son was planning.
The defense also arguing school officials
During this
did not
trial,
consider
Ethan
a
chose
threat.
not to testify, with his legal team stating that he would exercise his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Jennifer Crumbley was previously found guilty in February of all 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in a groundbreaking legal case that examined the boundaries of accountability in school shootings. She could face up to 15 years in prison, and her sentencing hearing is scheduled for April 9th. Following her arrest days after the shooting, Jennifer has been in custody at a Detroit warehouse.
Crumbley had no way of knowing what the teen was plotting.
James could face a maximum of 15 years in prison. Their son committed the tragic shooting at Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan, in November 2021.
To get this care that a counselor's telling you he needs, didn't say, "We bought him a gun 4 days ago as an early Christmas present," and didn't tell the school.
The jury's decision to hold James accountable for his son's actions was unanimous, as prosecutors argued that he and his wife failed to take steps to prevent the shooting.
Count 1, involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin. Count 2, involuntary manslaughter as to Tate Meir. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Tate Meir. Count 3, involuntary manslaughter as to Hannah St. Juliana. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Hannah St. Juliana.
In a statement issued to People, the attorney representing the victims' families expressed, "Today, a 12-person jury unanimously found James Crumbley, the father of the Oxford high school shooter, guilty as charged for his gross negligence, which ultimately played a causal role in the deaths of 4 OHS students." This guilty verdict, along with those found against the shooter's mother, Jennifer Crumbley, won't bring back the lives of these 4 students, but it represents one more step towards holding everyone responsible accountable under the law, which is justice for the victims' families and the Oxford community. Attorney Vin Johnson continued, stating, "We await the rulings from both the Michigan Court of Appeals and the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in our civil lawsuits. We are unwavering in our commitment to hold Oxford Community Schools and various OCS employees accountable, as they had the means to prevent the shooting, as outlined in their own district's Guidepost Solutions investigative report. Until every party responsible for this tragedy is fully and legally held accountable for their actions, our clients and our firm remain steadfast in our pursuit of justice." Throughout the trial, prosecutors emphasized that the firearm used in the shooting was gifted to the shooter by his parents as an early Christmas present just days prior. Prosecutors argued, as reported by CNN, that James neglected to secure the 9mm pistol adequately and disregarded his son's mental health challenges. Additionally, prosecutors pointed out that the Crumbleys were present at the school on the morning of the shooting for a meeting regarding a drawing of a gun found on a math worksheet completed by the shooter. The meeting ended abruptly, and James did not inform school officials about his son's possession of a gun, as reported by the Detroit Free Press. Jennifer's trial took place earlier this year, where she, too, was found guilty on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 1 for each victim. Jennifer's sentencing is scheduled for April 9th. In a follow-up statement, Attorney Johnson expressed the victims' families' confidence in the judge's decision during James and Jennifer's sentencing. While they hope for maximum sentences, they are prepared to accept whatever judgment the judge deems appropriate. Addressing the broader implications of the Crumbleys' case on similar incidents in the future, Johnson remarked, "If there's one thing that I think we can all agree on, it's that this cycle of violence must end, and it will only end if we take decisive action." He added, "We must analyze what went wrong in this situation and determine how such tragedies can be prevented in the future." Ethan received a life sentence without the possibility of parole after pleading guilty to 24 charges.